And we're going to start with David Murray.
Explain your mechanism of killing the...
Oh, the 5 minutes. I'm gonna give you a hint when you have only 1 minute left.
Right, I'm going to quickly talk to you about docxplora. This is going to be the least enlightening talk you're going to come across. docxplora is a project for manipulating OpenOffice XML files, particularly those produced by Microsoft Word. Just to note, text editors and word processors are very different. Text editors replaced the punch card for submission to computers. The word processor replaced the typewriter for submission to human beings. So it's about how it looks rather than how it's structured, and has a whole lot of deep and subtle consequences, which I won't mention. So Word files, the modern ones with the .docx suffix, are a species of OpenXML. OpenOffice XML files packaged as open packaging convention files. That is, they're XML files inside a zip archive, hence the dumpster fire. Why would you care? First, because lots of people have to use Word. Technical book authors, we hear, have to use Word. Normal people have to use Word. Second, Word is the lingua franca for human-centered document interchange. If you ask someone to send, or if you're asked to send a file, they're going to ask you to send it in Word, and vice versa, at least in the real world. There are lots of libraries and lots of languages for producing and consuming Word files, so Common Lisp should have at least one. And there are some nice things about Word's format. Style can be separated from content, although Word makes it very easy not to do that. It's highly multilingual. Most functions work in lots and lots of languages. Word actually typesets quite well nowadays, especially if you give it lots of hints, which you can do. And of course, being a Microsoft thing is embracing and extending, so you can put SVG and MathML. And XML is actually easy to work with in Lisp, using things, Nicholas Hafner's Plump and his Plump adjacent libraries. For example, you can take something like this, which is an extremely simple example of an extremely simple format style in Word, and write it like that, which looks nicer to me anyway, and is a lot easier to deal with in your text editor as opposed to your word processor. Hence docxplora, this library. It's in its early stages. I won't say it's in its early days because I've been fiddling with it for a while, on and off, mainly off. With the functionality provided in docxplora, I've fiddled around with a few things. There's recolor, which uses the colorized syntax highlighting library to create a colorized word processing ML version of your code for inclusion in a docx file. 3BMD to docx, which extends the 3BMD markdown processor to produce Word files. docx Jeweler, I imagine, which uses as much of Jeweler as makes sense to provide a simple templating facility for docx files. And something that I actually use professionally, or which is to say in my professional life, I often am faced with receiving a suite of documents, possibly hundreds of pages, which have been marked up with track changes and comments. I can use facilities from docxplora to extract those changes and those comments in their context, then use some of the docx Jeweler stuff to produce a report that summarizes those changes. So that produces a highly useful work product that would otherwise take so much time I wouldn't even bother. So, if you wish, contribute if you want to improve the lives of your family, your loved ones, and especially me. Thank you very much.